This is how to make eyes for craft projects and stuffed animals. And here's your supplies. You'll need buttons, pony beads, black pony beads in particular, and some white yarn. And you'll need a metallic tray to put your pony beads on, and a toaster oven or an oven will work sufficiently. And you're going to put it in there for about 5 minutes. And you want to watch how far down you want it to go, if you want them flatter or a little bit puffier. So this was done on toast for 5 minutes and then let to sit for the residual heat to come out. And as you can see, the ones on the corner are a little smaller than the ones in the middle, which is good because they'll fit the smaller buttons and the larger ones will fit the larger ones. So we're just going to wait for them to cool. Okay, so you can see all the different sizes, and then you can see there's different sizes in the beads, in the buttons themselves. And what you want to do is you just want to take a button and start putting in what fits. Like that one's a little too small. These are for much bigger ones. And if you need them down to size a little bit, because some of the ones are smaller, you can file them down to size so they fit exactly. But you can fit them in there and just mess with them. But I find the really flat ones fit in this one. So this is one of them that I could file down a little bit more to fit perfectly. So the bigger ones can go in there. Like that. The next one is finding what fits in, say, like these. And you just go in and you pick up what fits. Like, for instance, that fits. And you just go in and you keep putting in what fits. Like that one's a little big. That one fits. And once you decide which all ones fit and which ones don't, like the really smaller ones from the outer edges fit in the little ones, typically. And you have some of these over here that you can try fitting. But the real small ones like this usually fit perfectly in the little ones like that. And sometimes you have to do a real short batch to get more for little ones if you're wanting to make smaller ones. But most of the time, these fit really nicely into ones like that one fits good. And you just go through and then in your batch of 5 minutes, find what fits. And just put the ones in there that look like they fit. To fix up the ones that need a little help like this, just lightly go in and file it down with an emery board. Make sure you keep the edges fairly round. And then it should fit in there, just like that. We have a couple over here that are unusual where there's like a hole. You can find those and you can put them in there. They fit real nice like that. And you have a different effect. And then once you've done that, you go with your glue gun and you glue in all the ones that were fit. It's actually that simple. And so you may have to make a couple of batches to get enough, but when you get a whole bunch of single ones that say that don't fit, you can use them as just individual eyes, which I've used on my elephant patterns and stuff. So those can be good for just individual eyes. These are my larger eyes that I made, and that's what's the melting down to a larger, flatter pupil. And those are probably about 5 minutes to get it all the way down, 5 to 6 minutes to get all the way down flat for these. These are the mid-size buttons, and they're a little
less time to melt the pupils down. What you can do is guide yourself on how much you want to melt down by experimenting. Some ovens and toaster ovens and stuff run hotter or cooler. It's mostly experimenting to figure out what size and time frame you want, but this is what works for me. But I know our ovens and stuff run hotter than in the average house. I've also got some in my package of buttons, ones that already have a slit down the middle, and what you can do is you can take paint and paint the outside of it and then paint that middle black, and that'll give you some cat eyes. I'll show an example of that. Okay, so I'm going to be using a metallic folk art color of royal gold, craft smart black, and apple barrel white. And they're all crafter's paint. And I'm going to put a little dab of something. Because you have your base color, you're just adding highlights. So what I'm going to do is add gold first, and you can just use a Q-tip. And you pull in and out, in and out. And you just clean that off. Add a couple dots in there. And try to fill in that with black. And that's how you do it. You can go around the edge of the button in black after it dries if you want, and that gives you an outer edge, but there's how you can do your eyes. So these are the dragon cat eyes that I did with the already slitted buttons, and as you can see, I went in and I painted a clear coat of fingernail polish over top, and they came out pretty good, as you can see.
So for the eyes that you crochet, if you want smaller ones, I would typically go with a very small yarn like this, and I'd go with a much smaller hook. They have them in Walmart, the really small ones. I would suggest going for one of those sizes. They're typically silver. So I wanted you to be able to see this easily, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this so that you can see it, but you just do the same thing with the smaller hook and the thinner yarn. So wrap, pull through. Okay. So you're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're going to go back and stick the hook through the first loop and then slip stitch it through. Alright, what you want to do now is you want to go in and single crochet three. There's 1, 2, and 3. Then you want to double crochet 3. Here's 1. Here's 2. Here's 3. And then you want to triple treble crochet 2. Then you want to double crochet 3 again. Here's 1. There's 2. There's 2. And here's 3. Okay. Then you're going to go through the last one, which is right here. And you're going to slip stitch it through. And as you can see, it has an oval look to it. And you can make them this big. That's if you want those eyes to be that big. So go ahead and slip stitch another one. And then you can snip it and pull it through. But there you see how it's done. So you've got that nice oval color. You could, oval shape. And these actually could be Precious Moments eyes if you want to do Precious Moment dolls. But, yeah, and then you put the melted down pony bead there and glue it in, and you have an eye. So that's how you do it, and you can see it. But you can adjust the eyes for adjusting the hook.
These are the crocheted eyes. You can see the ones I did in the small crochet hook and the finer crochet, the finer yarn. And then of course the larger ones I did. All on a different melting point to get the size from here to here. Anywhere from 5 to 7 minutes. It's actually closer to 8 minutes with these that are really large, really flattened out. And it's basically 5 minutes for those that are really small. So here's the range from large to small in size, as you can see. All the different types.